All right. Hi, I'm Angel Russell, the Chief Operations Officer for Tickle.Life, and I am joined by some of the most amazing humans I have the pleasure of knowing and being friends with and colleagues with. And we are launching our podcast portfolio. We're really, really excited. September 30th is International Podcast Day. And that is, I hope, the day that you're listening to this. If the tech gods have aligned with us, then that is the day you're listening to this. Otherwise, you've time traveled and you're celebrating it late. And so either way, however you're doing it, International Podcast Day. Hello, fellow podcasters. So what we're doing is we actually have 4 podcasts that we are launching. And so before I tell you about those 4 podcasts, let's meet these amazing humans. I'm actually going to start with Linnea. Linnea, just tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about yourself, and then I'll come back and ask you about your show.
Hi, my name is Linnea. I've been in the sex ed industry for about 10 years. I love doing workshops and parties and just getting this information that's really life-changing to people.
I'm excited to have you. I love your work. I'm a big fangirl. Like when you said yes, I did. Steve can attest. I did like a dance. So yes. And then I already know and love these humans. We're going to start with Lulu. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. So my name is Lulu, better known as Lulu the Sexpert. I am a Master Certified Sexpert. I have been in business officially, I feel like, for the last 6 years. I just love this platform. I love everything involving sex because sex came to me as a young child for real sex. So I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be in here. So here we are. And it has manifested into some amazing, amazing opportunities. And I can't wait to build more with everybody.
Well, we love having you with us. And I'm so excited. I'm trying to get like into ahead of us. Okay, Laura, you're next on my screen. So go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura. I am a digital content creator for Tickle.Life, and I'm a PhD student in anthropology, and I do research on the sex tech industry. So that's how through that research, is how I found my way to Tickle.Life. And then it's been a really incredible experience just meeting so many new people in this space and having the opportunity to talk with everyone. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. And Steve?
I'm Steve Russell. I'm head of production for Tickle.Life. Been in the sex ed industry for about 5 years, usually behind the scenes, doing the production, editing, and everything for all the stuff that Angel puts out in the world. And so when we joined Tickle.Life, I was part of that package deal, and here I am now. But now I actually have to talk and and be part of the actual content, not actually just cutting it up.
Yes, I am excited. So a little bit of a getting ahead of ourselves. Steve agreed to do the podcast we're doing if there was no video component. So you're getting like a rare Steve sighting here. So people who are like listening, if you go to the Tickle.Life YouTube channel, you can see Steve's glorious face and see all of our glorious faces. But if you're just listening, you're obviously missing that and missing things like the faces we're making at each other and the air quotes and all that stuff. So head to YouTube and check it out because we all look really pretty today. And I'm Angel Russell. I have been teaching sex education to adults for like a decade. And I love it. It's my favorite thing. When the opportunity came up to work with Tickle.Life, I jumped on it. I love the idea of the work that the organization is doing, creating this global sexual wellness platform when we all know, every one of us knows like what the need is there and how important it is. And so supporting any organization that's doing that work is really a passion for me. And so now being in this space where I'm able to help shape what the company's doing and how we're moving through the world is like just such an honor. I wake up every morning like, I can't believe I get to do this. So, okay. So we are going to talk about our podcast because that's what people are here for. All right, we're back. I have no idea how this is going to edit. So just in case it's weird for everybody, we had some technical difficulties and now we're back. And so what we're going to do is talk about our podcasts. And that is what is bringing us all together today. And I had started to talk about when everything crashed, Back to Basics. Back to Basics started as a video series that Steve and I were doing, and it really is just that. It is a foundational show. Well, I'll let you guys do the thing. Laura, what is Back to Basics?
Yeah, so as you had just started to say, it's a foundational show, specifically targeting people who have had limited access to sex education. So when we say back to basics, we are going like all the way down to the like basic components of what sex is and can be. And Lulu and I are going to be breaking down all of these different topics into like their bare elements, so that if you don't need any experience, and I'll come to that, how that relates to me at some point. Yeah, so if you've had like no experience with sex ed, this is the podcast for you. And Lulu is going to be our kind of like our big educator for this process, and I'll be acting more as a moderator by like asking different questions. And Lulu, yeah, just I guess jump in with like what you're going to be doing.
So we're going to be building up you guys' foundation. We're going to be starting laying the bricks, putting all the cement down as far as sex is concerned, from the bare, like you never even heard the word before, like you don't even know you had a penis or a vulva or some nipples, nothing. We're just going to give you, like, we just built you in sex all at one time together and learn and explore and have an amazing time, having fun and being educated, all in one little pretty box.
I'm so excited. I know you guys are just kind of getting into this. You had a show on Instagram for a while. And so you guys were doing, it was weekly, right? Where y'all were getting together and chatting about sex, and Lulu was gracing us all with her beautiful insight, and it was amazing. And so we decided, let's make this a podcast. And there was I was a little bit surprised at how popular the videos have been. And again, super foundational. 4 minutes. What is a penis? 4 minutes. What is sex? It's super basic. People were really, really raving about the videos. And so it just seemed natural. The way that the two of you communicate with each other and your whole rapport was so beautiful. And so it seemed really natural to sort of, I was telling Chicken, it's like, I felt like I was like passing that mantle of the sex ed show where we break up myths and build up facts about sex. And I like heard you do it, and I like filled my heart with joy. I was like, this is so great. We are also launching Talking About Sex, Tell Me Your Story. And we have two hosts, but one of them is here today. So we're going to wait a little to announce who the second host is. You guys will have to follow us on the socials and listen in to find out. But one of our hosts is the amazing, wonderful Linnea. Linnea, tell us a little bit about what your show is going to be like and kind of what your vision is for what you're bringing to it.
Personal stories. I think that a lot of people benefit educationally and through life by learning through other people and what other people go through. And I think with these stories, we can learn what we did wrong, what we can do better, what we can change, what works, what doesn't work. And I'm excited to get couples on, to see that dialogue between them of, their first time doing this, or, how to open up that conversation. Well, let's go to a lifestyle club or something like that. So I'm really excited to hear all the personal stories and journeys that everyone has.
And our theme this time is disclosure. So thinking about a time that you had to tell someone something, good, bad, or otherwise. Maybe you had to tell them that you wanted to go to a lifestyle club for the first time, or maybe you wanted to tell them, you have to tell them that you have an STI, or you have to ask them about their STI status, or maybe it's a coming out story, or, you have to tell your best friend you have a crush on them, whatever it is, right? We all have things, confessions, right? Of like, I have to disclose, I have to come out about this thing. And we get a lot, and I know you guys can all relate, get a lot of questions from people like, how do I tell my partner, da-da-da? How do I tell my parents, da-da-da? How do I tell my best friend, da-da-da? And it's always this like, how do I talk about this thing? And it feels so huge when you're doing it. And so we thought, okay, you know what? Let's learn from how people have done this. So if you are a person with a disclosure story, if you want to talk about a time you came out, if you're a couple and you want to talk about one of you cheated and now you're working through that together and you want to share that story, right? Like that would be a great one. So if you want to be on the show, let us know. Go to Tickle.Life/podcast, and there will be a link to apply, or Angel@Tickle.Life, like find me. I'm sure there'll be another one too, but like we'll put all the links in the show notes. find us. If you want to be on the show, let us know, because we definitely want to hear from you. I know we have some friends and stuff in mind of people we're hoping to reach out to, but we definitely want to hear from you. So if you're listening, you're like, that's me, I have a story, like, please let us know. Okay. So I am going to let you talk about our next one, Steve. So the next show that we're going to talk about is Steve and I are doing a show called Sex Ed Speakeasy. So Steve, what is Sex Ed Speakeasy?
Yeah, so Sex Ed Speakeasy is going to be a show where we kind of deep dive into a particular historical aspect of sex. It could be, I don't know. Should we start?
We can tease a couple, yeah, like types of things we're doing.
Yeah, like history of chainsaws is has to.
What does that have to do with sex? Ew, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah. The origin stories of why we have chainsaws, it definitely has to do with sex. Our first episode is going to be on the handkerchief code, how the gay community used different color handkerchiefs to kind of tell each other what they were looking for. And
those are also disclosure stories.
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
So and going with the speakeasy theme, we also are connected with a couple of mixologists who will be making us either a time or topic specific drink to go along with it, which we will enjoy while we are recording.
And so what we're going to do is post we're not doing video. This is the only podcast that doesn't have a video component, but on the social media platforms for this stuff, and the links to that will be in the show notes. On the social media platforms, we'll post a picture of the drink. That was our featured drink. We'll post the drink recipe. We'll post a couple of like pictures that kind of go with the article that, or whatever history thing we're doing. And like a little bit of a fun, like insider kind of piece of information is our mixologists are my cousin. And which is so funny. He and I teach sex ed in his psychology class together, and we have for about a decade. And so we're a fun little duo.
And he has a speakeasy in his house.
And he has a speakeasy in his house. He has a bookshelf that moves, and there's a speakeasy behind it. So we're going to try to record some episodes from his speakeasy. And then my girlfriend Lexi is also like super thrilled to be doing this with us. She's already been sending me tons of drink recipes. So we're going to need to buy a cabinet or something for all the booze we're about to have in our house. So okay, cool. So that's Sex Ed Speakeasy, and then the last one we're doing is called Sex Tech Startup. And so this came from, we have as a team, Tickle.Life, we have like content planning, like strategy meetings all the time. But every Wednesday, we get together and talk about, like, as the team is planning content, they'll have questions that come up about sex ed and about sex. Like, if they're doing content around BDSM, they might have questions about like what's coming up for them. Because remember, everybody's in their learning. All of us here on the podcast, like all 5 of us are in our learning. Everybody on the team is in different stages of their learning. And we all want to be in like a cohesive message of how we're presenting information. And so I would jump in and answer these questions. And one time we were just having this great chat, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, we should record these. This would be a great podcast. And so now it is. And so Sex Tech Startup is a very behind the scenes, you are listening in on our team planning meetings. So you don't just get to hear sex ed, but you do. The sex ed is amazing. You also get, I love the questions that are asked and everything that everybody contributes. I'm so honored to be on this team, but also you get to hear how we plan our startup. We're doing this amazing work, and you get to hear what that looks like. And we're going to bring in sex tech specialists, and we're going to bring in some really cool folks to help us do this planning. And so, if you have questions about sex tech, if you have questions about sex ed, if you have whatever, like for Back to Basics, send us questions. Like if you want to hear a Back to Basics episode, you said nipples and I lit up. It didn't even ever occur to me to do an episode just on nipples. And now that's all I want is an episode on nipples. So I'm really looking forward to it. And like, that was amazing. So if you're listening right now and you're like, I've always wanted somebody to explain why I orgasm when I do crunches. Or whatever, right? And you have like I know Lulu's making a face like, And so if you have a question, whatever it is, one of us is having that conversation. And so please send in your stuff. Right now, I'm just going to give out my email address because I don't know which one we're going to use, but angel@tickle.life. But I think there will be a dedicated one. So check the show notes for something more specific too. And either one is fine. Does anybody have, we'll keep this one short. Oh, so what we're doing is this is getting broadcast on all of our podcast platforms as everybody's first episode. So we're all sharing. So whatever you're listening to, we're all sharing this first intro episode. Anybody have any like last minute things they want to share, things that came up while I was chatting?
I think we're definitely going to be talking about nipples in the next 2 weeks.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
And I was going to say, I think we actually, Lulu, we talked about Corgasm on our Instagram, one of our Instagram lives. So if you want to learn a little bit about that before we talk about it on the podcast, you can find it on our Instagram live story. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's good to know. You guys, yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're like, where can I get this content? Go to the Instagram lives, go to the Tickle.Life Instagram. The Instagram lives are back there. There's tons of stuff from Lulu and Laura already, tons of content. Go to the page and watch the Back to Basics videos. That stuff is there. Go read the articles in the blog. Linnea was a guest on our first season of the Tickle.Life podcast. So go listen to Linnea's episode. What was your first about? What did you share?
My first orgasm.
Oh my God, that's right. I remember now. I knew I listened to it. My COVID brain couldn't sort it. That was a good episode. So listen, if you want to like get a little Linnea teaser, go do it. And so, yeah, by the time this airs, our other hosts' information will also be in the show notes, but I don't want to like out them until I've got like, we're at like a 99% yes. And so I don't want to say the wrong thing. So that person will be also, we'll have, that season will be split up. So go check everybody out. I'll make sure we all do our own things too. And so what I'll do is I'll make sure our bios and stuff are in the show notes so people can really get a sense of who we are. And so, yeah, thank you for joining us. All of October, new episodes are going to be coming out. So we're launching starting October 1st, and something's going to be coming out every single week for the whole of October. So be following along. Go to tickle.life/podcast to find everything. And that is our show.